Senators are being briefed on UFOs as speculation grows surrounding naval sightings. It's time to have a fun segment where we talk about UFOs. No, it doesn't mean aliens. It just means unidentified flying objects, which we don't know what they are. But interesting things have been on the horizon because we're hearing more and more from mainstream press about how pilots, credible Navy pilots, are seeing UFOs. What could they be? They often describe weird little tic-tac things that move as though they're defying the laws of physics. I love this stuff. I love it for a few reasons. One, there are secrets out there. As X-Files would say, the truth is out there. Well, there are a lot of things out there we don't know about. And this means that we haven't yet discovered everything. There's a meme that people share where it says, born too late to explore the world, born too soon to explore the galaxy. But I disagree. It's defeatist to believe there's nothing else to find. There are people who believe we've discovered everything and then who knows what's next. And it's like, no, man, you got to go find it. Somebody found it. It was difficult. They didn't know it existed. It was discovered. Let's read the story. From Fox News. The Defense Department reportedly briefed Senate Intelligence Committee Vice Chairman Mark Warner on Wednesday, along with two other senators, as part of what appeared to be heightened efforts to inform politicians about naval encounters with unidentified aircraft. Warner's spokesperson indicated the senators sought to probe safety concerns surrounding unexplained interference Navy pilots faced, according to Politico. The outlet reported more briefings were being requested as news surfaced that the Navy revised its procedures for personnel reporting on unusual aircraft sightings. As part of a program investigating the issue, Navy personnel reportedly told Pentagon officials that they encountered aircraft that appeared to defy the laws of physics and aerodynamics while in military airspace. Navy Strike Group pilots also reported seeing strange objects flying above 30,000 feet at hypersonic speeds with no visible engine or infrared exhaust fumes, according to the New York Times. Is it possible that there is some kind of weather phenomenon? Maybe. Ball lightning apparently is a thing. I'm not an atmospheric scientist, so maybe I'm wrong. But apparently, balls of energy can be fly through the air. Could it be just a natural occurrence? It could be aliens, I guess. I really doubt that's the case, because I think, as I've stated time and time again, it's the most likely thing is classified black ops technology, like U.S. government technology they're not telling you about, or foreign adversary. And that's where it gets scary. Although many people want to believe it's aliens, let's see what goes on. Since that program started, military officials have reportedly briefed President Trump and other government figures on the sightings. When Trump acknowledged the briefing in an interview released on Saturday, he doubted that Navy personnel actually saw UFOs. And this was really funny. I didn't make a video about it at the time, but Gizmodo essentially ran a story saying, if Trump's always lying, and then he denies UFOs exist, perhaps he's lying about this, and UFOs do exist. Let's read on. He said, quote, I did have one very brief meeting on it, but people are saying they're seeing UFOs. Do I believe it? Not particularly. Maybe he's saying he does believe it. Asked if he knew if there was evidence of extraterrestrial life, Trump said, I think our great pilots would know, and some of them see things a little bit different from the past. We're watching, and you'll be the first to know. Christopher Mellon, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, has said that the U.S. knew UFOs existed. We know that UFOs exist. This is no longer an issue, he said. The issue is why are they here? Where are they coming from? And what is the technology behind these devices that we're observing? Are they saying aliens? Because I got to say, here's the thing. I do not believe if aliens came to Earth, they would make contact with us right now. What are they going to do? They go to the U.S. and say, hey, you're a big country with weapons. We're going to talk to you. Well, what do you think all the other nations are going to just sit there happily? No. And if aliens did come and they didn't speak to everybody, somebody'd spill the beans. So, no, I don't think aliens are here. And in the extremely rare, unlikelihood that they do, they probably wouldn't talk to anybody because it could trigger, serious concerns. People would panic. We're still a very religious planet. So, but I guess he brings up a good question. Where are they coming from? What is behind these devices that we're observing? So maybe they're not devices. Who knows? We don't know what it is. It could be weird interstellar life of some sort. I have no idea. I mean, not an alien, but something that is exists in outer space. While the Navy didn't immediately comment on Wednesday, it previously told Politico in April that it briefed officials on reported safety hazards. In response to requests for information from congressional members of our staff, Navy officials have provided a series of briefings by senior naval intelligence officials, as well as aviators who reported hazards of aviation safety. I have to wonder, though, why haven't any of these things actually collided with our aircraft, right? Is it possible, then, that they are being intelligently piloted? Former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, who requested the Pentagon's program investigating the matter, pushed in a June interview for Congress to learn more about the issue. They would be surprised how the American public would accept it, he said, referring to the military. Reid, who was able to get $22 million in funding for the study of military sightings of UFOs, said that his office produced a plethora of reports on the subject, that money was spent developing page after page of information, where people in the past had seen things, and not one person, but hundreds of people. As a result of that, there's been a lot of activity since that. So it's interesting that the federal government and that the Senate is now getting involved, right? But we do have another story. This one's from CNN. And they ask, why are pilots seeing UFOs? Well, I can't answer that, but I can read what they think. They say, Don Lincoln is a senior scientist at the Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory. He is the author of several science books. This is the guy who writes this. He writes, over the past 70 years, more than 10,000 similar reports have been made. I'm skipping the first issue about UFOs because we've gone through it. Most reports were eventually debunked as weather balloons, the planet Venus, or even oddly shaped clouds. Some accounts simply arose from nothing more than fevered imaginations of UFO enthusiasts. But not all reports could be dismissed so easily. In 2004, Navy fighter jet pilots operating from the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier reported seeing UFOs off the coast of San Diego. And more recently, other military pilots flying with the U.S. Theodore Roosevelt in the Atlantic made similar claims. The news of those accounts became public knowledge from a story in the New York Times and a new miniseries on the History Channel. And you know why the History Channel is running this? Because they make so much money off ancient aliens. The question that comes to mind, are these aliens? Sadly, for anyone who's a fan of the television show The X-Files, it is simply far, far more plausible that what these pilots were seeing is something with a more ordinary explanation, whether it be an instrumental glitch or some other unexplained artifact. And that's basically what I'm saying. Given the professionalism of the pilots who reported the sightings, I am fairly certain that they did indeed see a UFO. The problem is that many people jump directly from unidentified to flying saucer, and that's just too large a jump to be reasonable. There is simply no credible evidence that the Earth is being visited by aliens. There are no artifacts, no clear photographs, no captured aliens, no alien bodies, nothing. And even if they were aliens, maybe they don't exist in the same kind of medium we do, and they probably can't even talk to us. We can hear things. Right? Hearing is built upon air and water, the medium in which we live that can convect vibrations, and then our ears have evolved to pick up and sense those vibrations. There are some animals. That was a weird thing. Wind. There are some animals that can sense electromagnetic waves. Like what do they call? I forgot what they're called, but like the echidna and the platypus, I believe, can do this. We can't even perceive that the way they can. How do they sense it? I don't know. Maybe it feels like sound to them? No idea. Like maybe they hear it in a different way? So if aliens did come here, why would we even bet they could talk? Like maybe they can't even make noise. Maybe they can't even exist in our atmosphere. That's probably true. And maybe they don't even think the same way we do. Right? We just don't know. Well, let's read a little bit more. The reports of UFOs are from eyewitnesses or poor resolution photographs or videos. They say they are from. Ask a criminal prosecutor about the value of eyewitness reports. They have contributed to a majority of the convictions that were later overturned by DNA evidence. An eyewitness can be an unreliable source of information, and in the case of something as extraordinary as the observation of alien spacecraft, pedestrian evidence simply won't do. As Carl Sagan often said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. The reality is that unidentified means just that. And so I think that's, the sad reality. I'm not going to go on for a million years with this video because I just wanted to mainly point out that we're seeing this more and more, that senators are being briefed about UFOs, that the Navy is taking them seriously. And I think for anything else, foreign weapons technology, in fact, it may even be American weapons technology that is just classified. It could be listen, if our weapons You know about the fighter jets. You know of the missiles. You think that if you know about it, you think Russia doesn't? No, of course Russia does. Russia probably knows about way more than you do. So think about what America's actually been able to keep under wraps. I'd be willing to bet whatever it is we're seeing is just well beyond the pay grade of, even our fighter pilots. But I'll leave it there. Thanks for hanging out. I'm trying to get the tech sorted in the bus, so in the van. It's been really complicated, and it's a challenge. But I've got to work out that workflow, and we're getting there. So forgive the hiccups through the past day. You can see the lighting has changed. There's been some bugs, but stick around. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. For those on the podcast, it'll be 6:30 p.m. every day. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you all next time.